accepting the invitation to listen to this week's episode of Articulate Thoughts, which is a personal blog of mine where I share some thoughts, ideas, experiences, and observations about conscious dance, which is a movement practice that uses dance as a form of moving meditation. And today's topic of discussion is summertime sadness. The end of summer is on its way, and fall is coming in, and the days have been chillier, and just yeah, like I mean, naturally that's that sadness of summer going away, but that is life. Things are season constantly in a state of change, and the seasons come and go. And I'm also fresh off a class where we danced on sadness last week. I'm currently taking a 5-week dance series called Road to Compassion, given by Evangelos Diavolitsis. And last week was sadness, so uh, it was a very intense class for me, as sadness is one of those emotions that I easily glaze over and just kind of um, take a more positive approach. I just kind of, you know, I really claim my power and like perspective and reframe things that feel good to me. But there is a downfall to that, and that is not really feeling to the emotions and properly processing them. And that is something that I've been doing for quite a while now. Throughout the course of my life, there's been a lot of suppressed emotions and a lot of negative feelings that weren't expressed. And I feel like in the past few years, I've been kind of catching up and really taking the time and effort to feel those feelings, like bring those feelings back and feel those feelings and process them. And conscious dance has been a very instrumental in that process for me. And I mean, there's still a lot that I have not properly processed for sure, and there's a lot more to go. But I'm definitely becoming more and more comfortable with confronting things that are uncomfortable in the realm of emotion, and well, just in general, and that's been a big part of that, because it's just you know, a feeling of that there can be something to be done about it, and it's not so much of just sitting sad and feel sorry for myself. Um, Although there is a time and place for that, but it doesn't have to be a prolonged effort. And if it's suppressed, then it takes a lot of energy to suppress emotions and to constantly put the attention and focus on something else when there's, I guess, like my heart or like my inner being is feeling something and I'm just ignoring it. So it's also really sad in a way, because in a sense I'm ignoring myself, like my negative emotions and my sadness and my fear and anger and my pain. That is a part of me, that is something that I'm experiencing, that I'm going through. And to not acknowledge that and to just think, oh, it's almost invalidating myself in a way. It's like, you know, I don't want to feel that, I don't like that, so I'm not going to pay any attention to that. But that is a part of myself, and that is a part of my experience that I'm not interacting with. And it's coming to that realization during that class, what was pretty sad in itself, and really painful. But I had a really good cry, actually. I got to a point in the dance where I just kind of fell on my knees and just kind of had my forehead on the ground, and I just started crying. And it's a very interesting time, because every time I dance, I typically push myself to a point of exhaustion where I get really, really tired and I'm all sweaty, and I'll just kind of kneel on the ground, put my forehead on the ground, and just kind of have a humbling moment of, surrender, just saying, I'm exhausted, and I'm just kind of allow my mind to be emptied and allow, the new things to pour in. But last week's class in particular, uh, I cried. Like I had a very emotional overpouring of sadness, and telling myself it's okay. Like these things are sad. These things that you're sad about, like anyone would be sad about, and there's nothing wrong or weak about feeling those emotions and expressing it. And throughout the course of the week, I was also acknowledging a lot of other things, like things that I'm anxious about or things that I'm worried about, and just a lot of negative emotions that I kind of diminish in my mind, or kind of invalidate in some ways, just so I don't have to feel it, or kind of stray away from that realm of feeling like it's weak to feel those emotions. But there is a time and place, and there's validity in feeling those emotions, and there's a reason why we have them. And So yeah, so basically what I'm saying is dance is a great tool to experience a lot of like joy and pleasure and a lot of playfulness and friendly like interacting with other people. But it could also be a tool to dive into the shadow aspects of oneself and to really just confront what's really going on there. And I think that's a really healthy practice to really involve one's consciousness and awareness in all of the emotional spectrum of the human experience. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna leave that for this week's episode. And I just want to send out another invitation for a dance tonight. Today is week 4 for the Road of Compassion. We'll be dancing the emotion of joy. So if you're down for that, come check it out at Central United Church, 7 p.m. I'll put a link at the Dropbox, and inshallah, I'll see you on the dance floor. Or not. Maybe so.